Hello and welcome to anybody who's joining me here. So today I am going to be sharing a new discovery, and before I get started on that exactly, I just wanted to give a shout out to Lisa Papez at Supportive Tarot, who's really just been a wonderful guide in some of the issues that I'm going to raise here. I'm also going to give a shout out to Kimberly Zan at Way of the Panda Tarot, Fables Den. And who else? Yes, Simon at the Hermits Den. So all of these people are out there on social media and much more experienced than I, and knowledge that I've gained from these people has kind of led me to this deck. So, I've been studying tarot very, very seriously, and I'm at the end of my 1 year of study, and I'm going out into this new direction, which is using playing cards, and I'm trying to use them in a more intuitive way of learning about insights, I guess I should say, not learning about myself, insights. And so what happened was I was watching the Fables Den, I think she calls it Fables Den on Instagram, but the Way of the Panda, and she was talking about how she had found this deck and that she was using it just for intuitive reading. And then I watched a video on Simon at the Hermits Cave about working with playing cards for cartomancy, and Lisa has been at Supportive Tarot has been very, very helpful to me in looking at using intuition for reading cards, because I really started out with the book learning, the really serious book learning. So now I'm ready to start to improvise a bit. All right, so finally, let's get onto this deck after I said all my thank yous. So Fables Den, Kim was introduced this card. So it is actually part of this game. I guess I'll open it up and show you, although I don't know how to play the game. But it looks really cute, right? And come on, what's not to like with these little rabbits? But the idea of the game apparently is to tell stories, right? So it's a game that you're playing with other people, and I guess there's winners. I don't think it's a cooperative game. But it is a cooperative in the sense that you are telling stories and trying to guess something about whoever put the card down. Anyway, boy, I deviate. So here is the deck itself. I hope the shadows are not too bad. I'm experimenting with new lighting today. And I just love it because I was moving from very serious decks into some more playful, fun decks, inner child work, which is kind of how I ended up with this one. I mean, it's not just that it's a fun deck. I got it mini size to make it like really perfect. So here, I'm just going to do this. I'm not going to tell you what any of these cards mean to me, because that's not really the point, is it? The point is, this is a game that you can buy, especially if you're sort of in the closet about being a card reader, and just have it and read stuff. I mean, look at this. She is with this dress that's a cage, and there's fish. Are they in the cage? Are they out of the cage? Is she underwater? Look at her hair. Is that great? So I think I'm just going to walk through the whole deck so you can see all the cards and see if it's something that you might like. I mean, sometimes it calls up something very obvious, like, well, there's the magician, right? But, you know, you don't have to read it that way. You could read it some other way. And that says something to me about my childhood with the spider's web there and the shoes. And these theater masks with lots of different emotions being expressed. And all the cards, look at them. The people have got real expressions on their faces that I think are very useful, and they're so colorful, and you could really look at the image for a while, right? So at first it's like, what is that, a sun or something? And then, no, actually, I believe it's a yellow apple or maybe an apricot, something. But what's she doing with her hands up? And there's so much movement and so much beautiful color. Look at this guy. So like I said, sometimes you look at it, it's like, oh, that's a king of air maybe, or maybe it's the emperor or something, but not necessarily. And look at the images. It's like he's got this ball and chain. It kind of looks like a prison cell, but look, there's this beautiful wallpaper. And what prison cell has got tiles or rugs like that? I don't know. And then he's got the keeping score on the wall. And these two kind of reminds me of the Lover's card in, what is that called? Looking over here, Elemental Tarot. Now this one is interesting because it's got a pair. Let me see if I can find his buddy. Here's his buddy. Look at these two. Isn't that interesting? So do different places on a similar journey maybe. And I love scarecrows, and I'm surprised that I don't see them more in decks, tarot decks or oracle decks. This one, is that a wall or is that someplace you can go? Who knows? Love this one. For the dragon lovers out there. Here's the Tears of the Clown. Do, 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 do. No singing. Look at that. That's got some serious fairy tale vibes, right? And this candle with the rope or the thread that's, and what's with the red wax on the white candle? Lots of stories you could, a lot you could read into that. Sowing the seeds, but then look what's coming up. It's a Venus flytrap, so that's interesting. A heart under glass. This is a nice timepiece. No hands, right? And this night sky. It really, these are just so evocative. And look at this one. Look at these grains of sand, and look, it's an older person up at the top and a younger person down below. Really a lot to look at and think about there. This one, I think it's just kind of funny, right? It's like a little ironic. The sun and everybody's got their umbrellas open. And so this one is kind of a pair with that timepiece, right? But this one does have, it's got a hand. This compass does seem to be working. It's got a map and everything. This is fun. I don't know. When I used to play with toys, I certainly projected in my imagination myself into those scenes that I was creating. See the little flower down here. As a musician, I'm extremely fond of this card. But what is he thinking, or she? It's good. It could be. It's androgynous, that figure. Little egg town, whatever that is. And that's the point of this deck, is that it could be anything, right? This cat painting. Does that remind you of anything in the tarot deck? I think so. Love this one. So many stories in here, and it's like it could be some, you know, it could be real shadow work, but because it's kind of friendly looking, so it's not off-putting, right? Like if you're doing shadow work with this deck and you get this, you know, there's some stuff to think about there, but it's not like, oh, I'm scared, I'm gonna cry. Same thing with this. I pretty much like any dollhouse image. This is a good one. And another question, like, how come I don't see that in the tarot or oracle cards more often? I mean, the dollhouse has such rich imagery for me. There's that married couple in cage. So just because I'm not saying something on all of the cards doesn't mean I don't like them. I like, there's no card in here that I don't like. like in terms of it's usable. They're all, they can all really say something here. Like this one, it's really a lot to look at and interpret. Now, I will say this is definitely Western civilization images. So, although the experiences could be, very diverse, the imagery is not. But there's enough that's not white people, that are other things, that I feel like it doesn't stop me completely. I'm just aware. Right? Like, why does this have to be a white boy on the white horse? It's whatever. Just waiting for the rest of the world to catch up with me on this one. A little bit of Two of Swords action there. I mean, how great is that tree? Please. And because a deck like this, it's not a closed system that's necessarily balanced in a certain way. So if there are cards that you don't like here, you could just pull them out. Who cares, right? Like, theoretically, if I got sick of looking at all white people here, I could just pull them all out. I can edit this deck however I like. It's not like I'm going to be missing a piece. Just beautiful. More Two of Swords. Those ants. I really get a kick out of this one with the notes on the ground and the music box. If I was a kid, I'd actually want that abacus. Not how we're feeling this summer. Oh, there's Alexa telling me to stretch. And this a little bit Rapunzel-y, but not. But I love that it's a spiral, getting out of the spiral. Another fantastic image, as is this one. I mean, it's whimsical. They're obviously, in conflict, but it still made me kind of giggle a little bit. So that's why I like this deck. Get the hard messages, but you don't have to cry right away. And then there's just like these kind of like, what ideas in here, like these, I think this is a moth and this is a butterfly, but look, they're on it doesn't look like they're attached to it as specimens, but they're on like clothes hangers. Yeah, that's what it's all about, just trying to unlock that thought process of mine. I like this guy. Just beautiful, really beautiful. So many different things I could think of to say about this, but let you have your own thoughts. Pretty great stuff there. Real life. Fantastic. Fantastic image. Oops. Aw. this one. So that is it. I'm not sure how many cards there are in here, but you know, it's pretty thick. I'm sure I'm going to edge this one. Well, let's see. How can I compare this to something? Okay, so here's a standard tarot sides. Look at this. The Light Seers Tarot deck. So it's a little wider, but it's the same height. And they're pretty easy to handle. I'm not a very good shuffler, but let's see if I can do it. Not bad, not bad. I mean, I usually do it this way, but so that's it. That is my little walkthrough of Dixit. And if you sort of like this idea, they've got all these, what do they call them, expansion add-on packs. Yeah, it's not on here, but they've got packs, which I assume would be less expensive than buying the game because you're just buying the cards. But if you know, you can look at any store that sells games or online booksellers or anybody that sells games, puzzles, that kind of thing is going to have this. Apparently it's a well-established game, although I had never heard of it before. So that's it, Dixit. I hope you found this useful, and yeah, who doesn't have room for a little bit more fun and a little bit more intuition work? So be well, take care, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.